What's going on YouTube? Back on another video. I got this excerpt from Lyn Alden, Broken His Money, all right, to read. And I want you to really listen to what I'm about to tell y'all right now. Within the 1913 Federal Reserve Act, a third national bank of the United States was established, and the first true central bank of the country, the Federal Reserve System. The Federal Reserve was constructed as a system of 12 Federal Reserve banks, which are owned by commercial banks, but are overseen by a board of federally appointed officials. The act gave the Federal Reserve authority to oversee the banking system, serve as legal of last resort, and issue Federal Reserve note. The Federal Reserve held gold among its assets and administrated the ledger that served as the monetary base for the country, with commercial banks storing their reserves as entities on the Federal Reserve ledger. During the Great Depression in 1933, President Roosevelt signed Executive Order 6102, which made it a criminal offense, punishable by up to 10 years in prison, for Americans to own gold anywhere in the world other than small amounts for things like wedding rings. People were told to hand over their gold and were given the existing peg exchange rate of $20.67 per ounce in return. In the next year, listen up, the 1934 Gold Reserve Act barred all banks from redeeming dollars for gold and required the Federal Reserve to hand over all its gold to the U.S. Treasury. Through the combination of these acts, large amounts of gold were handed over by the public to the U.S. federal government in exchange for paper dollars and banknotes. After the 1934 Gold Reserve Act, the federal government then sharply devalued the dollar relative to gold. An ounce of gold went from being worth $20.67 to $35. This allowed them to expand the monetary base in dollar terms relative to their amount of gold reserves, and thus devalue people's dollar-denominated savings, as well as devalue various debts, including the federal debt. Sneaky. The federal government constructed the U.S. bullion depository at Fort Knox and transferred their gold to that location. Although it was illegal for Americans to own gold for approximately 4 decades, many of them secretly did, and the ban wasn't very enforceable in practice. It's easy for a government to get all the gold out of banks with the stroke of a pen, but to get all the small amounts of gold out of individual households would require a much more expensive and draconian operation. They had to be content with getting a significant percentage of it, mainly from banks and from individuals who willingly turned it over early on to avoid the low chance of getting caught. Now listen up. From 1933 until 1971, dollars were still redeemable for gold by foreign central banks at this new devalued rate, but not by American citizens and not by foreign private entities. In 1971, the U.S. defaulted on foreign redemptions as well, and rendered the dollar redeemable for nothing. I told y'all in the book, fake, for nothing. After that point, the dollar's fall in value accelerated. By the 1980s and 1990s, an ounce of gold was worth approximately 10 times as many dollars, $300 to $400, depending on the year, as it used to be, as dollars were rapidly debased. By the 2010s and 2020s, an ounce of gold was worth well over $1,000, at times reaching over $2,000. Anybody saving dollars got their savings devalued. This is why I hold gold. And in the book, Lyn Alden shows $100 in 1972 adjusted for inflation. 1972, you guys see that? It just drops. As you can see here, also the war, right? Different wars, it drops, and then boom, it goes up for a little bit. This is after the Federal Reserve Act was passed, right? And the Federal Reserve was created. Boom! Look at that! Look at the price of the U.S. dollar just dropped, man. Look at that shit. They scammed us. The World War I right here, World War II right here, all right, and then boom, it just fucking drops. Nation take dollar off the gold standard, and this is why since 1971, people have been suffering, man. If y'all want a good website to really understand what I'm talking about, there's a website called WTF Happened in 1971. You're going to see the suicide rate go through the roof. You're going to see health, mental health, physical health just plummet. You know what I'm saying? And when you go off of a real sound ledger, standard. People lose themselves, and I'm seeing this in our society. I always used to wonder, why are people losing themselves? You know, why are they lacking meaning in life? And that's where my journey really started. I'm not trying to persuade anybody, honestly. I'm just seeking knowledge right now. And Lyn Alden, people like this that wrote this book for me, I should have paid $2,000 for this book, honestly. I asked my grandparents, I asked my parents, I asked co-workers, I asked Uber drivers, I asked pilots, you know what I'm saying, that fly me around, American Airlines. I'm like, do you know about this? I wonder how many Americans actually truly know that gold was banned here. That's weird to me. This ain't a free market, folks. People believe that we have a free market. We can just freely trade. No, you can't. Look at the stock market. The market drops 40%. Now what happened? They halt trading. That's not a fucking free market. That's why I just love Bitcoin. Bitcoin, it could drop 80%. Sell, please, sell to me. You know, Bitcoin aside. But Lyn Alden does a great job exposing all this. Broken Money, a very good book. We have broken money. And Michael Saylor says we have toxic money. You know, he just does a great job explaining what our fiat currency really is, toxic money. You know, it's a tool, a monopolized tool. This book goes through the history of our tool of trade. We had shells as money. We even had tobacco in America as money, all right? Even the word salary, right? All my Spanish speakers, what do you hear in the word salary? S-A-L, salt. Salt was money, all right? Cattle was money. You know what I'm saying? And people don't even know this stuff. I'm at work explaining this to my coworker. Again, I'm not trying to bash anybody, but it's just like I'm in a new environment, right? People don't even know who I am. They don't understand, like, you know, I'm very, very, very passionate about this. So people have said, you know, oh, I don't trust banks. I said, you don't trust banks, but what are you doing about it? Do you have any gold? People love to complain. Oh yeah, I hate banks, really. But you're still trusting these banks with your fucking money. And then what happens? These Americans got fucked. It's like if gold price today went from $2,000, right? $2,067 to $3,500 fucking dollars. What would you do right now? Your savings got diluted, but what are you doing about it? I am doing everything in my power to study and learn, guys. I will not get fucked this time. Many homo sapiens get fucked every single time. And the more I study this, the more I trust myself. The more I trust my mind, my body, my spirit, you know, the human intuition. It's inside of each one. It's inside of each and every single one of us. You know, it's just screaming at you, you know, learn more, invest more in knowledge. You know, these people got played. They're saving their time. To dilute somebody of their time, of their savings, is to steal from them. That's theft, man, at the highest. That is theft. At the highest degree, theft. That is theft. Inflation is theft, man. To dilute them is theft. People working all these hours away from their kids, grandchildren, away from their passions. I can tell you how many homo sapiens I met who are talented. I mean, they play the guitar, the piano. And I say, what is holding you back? What is truly holding you back from really doing what you love? And every single fucking time, it's this corruption on the money. It gives me joy, honestly. I can't even persuade you. I'm just here, talk to the camera right now, reading this book, increasing my knowledge. All right. I just want one person to start investing in himself and believing in himself. That's it. I can't help everybody. I tried. Jim Rohn says, I tried to get a homo sapien to change. I almost died. All right? All you can do is change yourself. All right? Don't wish it was easier. Wish you were better. Don't wish for less problems. Wish for more skills. Jim Rohn keep it real with Miss Chocolate. I like that shit. And I judge a tree by the fruit that it bears, right? Jim Rohn, I look at the people that he has helped, all right? He has helped, what's his name? Tony Robbins. Look at how many people he has helped. My goodness. You want to learn from people like that, man. Jim Rohn has helped out millions of people just for keeping it real with people like myself who are seeking knowledge. Thank you very much, my brother. So yeah, I'll leave it right there. The the world's changing so much. So much. And all I want to do is just keep up with it. You know, I realize that we got work to do as a country. We have a lot of work to do. So yeah, read this book by Lyn Alden, please. Like I said, all I can do is give you the information right here. Come on, folks. Read this book right here. It's a great book on this stuff. So I'll see you in my next video. Peace.